Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and today we're going to be doing a new pen day unboxing. Today we are unboxing the Jinhao 10. It is the Pilot Vanishing Point or the Pilot Capless dupe. But specifically, we are unboxing the Caramel Orange Gradient colorway, which is the dupe for the Whiskey Pilot Vanishing Point or Pilot Capless. I did already take a look after work. I could not help myself, so I already took it out of the box that I very clearly struggled to open. But without further ado, let's open it up. All right, it comes in this tin. And if you look at that, ta-da, it is just stunning. I am so happy that I went with this colorway. I almost went with the like gold one, but I'm so glad I went with this one once it came back in stock. So I'll take it out of the plastic here. I'll set this aside. There she is. This is, again, the Caramel Orange colorway in the Jinhao 10. I did get this in a fine nib, and it is a clicky pen. So this is the first and only click fountain pen that I have, and the click is a lot, like, stronger than I thought it would be, which is kind of interesting. Something else I noticed too is that the nib is silver, whereas the rest of the pen is gold. That does not bother me, but just something to be aware of. And I cannot wait to get to know this pen. I tried looking in the trapdoor. I'm not sure how well we'll be able to see. Will it focus in the trapdoor? I'm not sure. But it looks like it closes all the way. I'm not too sure. That is the main complaint I have seen with the Jinhao 10 is that certain ones do not like seal all the way, so your pens dry out, next day. But here's to hoping that this one is a good one. And I feel like I want an ink in here that's going to match the pen body. But yeah, it's also pretty heavy. I feel like compared to my other pens, it's a bit weightier, which is interesting. I wonder how much I'll like that and how that'll play out. But unscrewing it too here, there's like a nice resistance there, which I like. I feel like it's going to seal well, and it's also springy. That's also probably why there's resistance. But this cap just comes off, and like it kind of moves around a little bit there with the back of the pen. But then you have your nib unit here that just comes right out, and I kind of like how like springy it is. And then I do believe that the actual converter comes out, and that's not a lot of ink room. Like, that's all the room there is. So the ink capacity is very small, but I feel like that's to be expected. So gotta make sure you push it in there all the way. And then we'll just reassemble this. But yeah, I'm very excited to get some ink in here and try it out. Put this back together, nice and tight. There we go. So pretty easy to assemble and disassemble. So let's find some inks to put in this bad boy. Alrighty, so I am back with my ink journal. This is a Galen Leather B6 52 GSM Tomoe River paper notebook, and the pages are completely blank, so I'm going to be using the provided backlay to serve as a guide today. And I chose 3 inks that I feel match the Jinhao 10 here in the Caramel Orange colorway pretty well. I've also heard this referred to as the coffee gradient, which I also like. So there we go. It is a kind of light to dark brown, so that's how we're going to do the order of our swatches today. So I'm going to set this to the side. Maybe put her, over there. So for my swatches, I'm going to be using my pipette here to put some of the ink down. I'm going to be using my plastic baggie to kind of squiggle around the ink. And then I have my water cup here to the side. And we're going to start with Birmingham Pen Company Ceramic Kiln. So I feel like this color matches like the lightest portion pretty well. And I'm still quite a beginner to this whole thing, so I don't have a ton of inks, so I'm just taking my best guess out of my very humble collection. And I want to thank Julia here for the idea and also for sending me this ink. I've not put this in a pen yet, but who knows? This could be the first one, so I'm pretty excited about that. And oh my gosh, the water does kind of turn a little bit lime green with the Birmingham Pen Company inks. People are not kidding about that. This is also my first and only Birmingham Pen Company ink I'm trying. So I'm just very excited to have one in my collection. So I'm very thankful to Julia here for not only doing the ink swap with me, but for providing me my first Birmingham Pen Company ink. I would love to order from them eventually. I feel like, oh, that would just be so fun. But they're not available anywhere else online. It's only through like their direct website. So I feel like I could have put more ink down. So that's an okay swatch. We'll go with it. We'll go with it. I'm still, of course, like I said, I'm a beginner, so I'm still getting there with my swatches. I kind of forgot, I am going to use my glass dip pen here to write out, I think, the name underneath of the ink that I am swatching, so. And I just got this dip pen off of Amazon, so it's like, nothing phenomenal, but it does the job. It definitely works a lot better on this Tomoe River paper than it did my Leuchtturm book, but that's besides the point. So this is, I'll write it over here. Birmingham Penco Ceramic Kiln. I think I might want to keep the swatches pretty simple, so I don't think I'm gonna add a bunch of like little doodles. I think we're gonna keep it simple and just do the big swatch and then the name underneath. I think that sounds good. So that was Birmingham Pen Company Ceramic Kiln. Set that off to the side. Next, we are going to be doing, let me dry off my stuff here. We will be doing Teranishi Nostalgic Honey, and I have also not inked this up in a pen yet, so I'm pretty curious to see if this will be the one. I feel like this is like almost like a perfect ink for that, like the medium, like the in-between the dark and the light, so I'm pretty excited to see how this goes. So I'm gonna put maybe a bit more down. Oh, that is probably too much, but I have a bottle of that one, so I'm not as conservative about it. I feel like this is gonna splotch everywhere. Oh yeah. Just don't splotch into ceramic kiln, please. I kind of like how this bag is getting like more crinkly, so when I just squish it, it follows the creases a little bit more. So I guess that's a tip for you to get more out of you know, your splotches. If it's more crinkly, the ink will just kind of flow in those crevices, which I really like the look that that gives. I feel like this is a very wet ink. Oh, I kind of went over the name a little bit. My bad. But it's okay. We're just playing, right? We're just playing with inks. It's not that serious. It's just paper after all, right? All right, I'm just gonna wipe that off. I've been using the same bag for a while, so it's like kind of, I feel like I see a little bit of shimmer in ceramic kiln. That is not a shimmer ink. I just feel like there's shimmer particles just like stuck on my bag. But we'll wipe off the excess here. Sorry, I was probably like totally not in frame there. I'm so sorry. Still very new to this whole thing, so thank you for bearing with me. So this is Taranishi Nostalgic Honey. I am pretty happy with this dip pen though, to be completely honest. It was like maybe $8, but that's pretty crisp writing. Like I'm pretty satisfied with that. It's not as maybe as fine as I would prefer. I'm a fine nib girly at heart, so I definitely prefer that, but I still really like it. So that was Taranishi Nostalgic Honey. And last but not least, I am swatching Ferris Wheel Press Steeped Umber, and I love this ink. I feel like it matches the darkest part just perfectly. And I do want to specify too, I am not a person that like exclusively matches their fountain pen ink to like the body of their pen. I basically just put in whatever ink I want or whatever ink I'm feeling. It doesn't have to match. Like I have a purple ink in my green Lamy right now. But I still feel like you can't deny the satisfaction when your ink matches your pen perfectly, right? Especially when you have a pen that is this beautiful in these colors, and I just gravitate towards these colors. So I really just can't help myself. So let's give this, oh shoot, that up there is still wet. I just put the bag in it. Oops. Hey, it's not that serious, right? So we'll just get a nice, this kind of looks like a tree. And that's still wet up there. So we're gonna probably mix a little bit of Steeped Umber and some Nostalgic Honey, but that's okay. It'll just look like the pen, right? Let's get some blotches all around here. Just make sure we have enough room. There we go. I feel like that is a gorgeous color palette. It's feeling very like autumnal, but I'm not mad about it. That's for sure. All right, so now let's get that name in here. Ferris Wheel Press Steeped Umber. Set that off to the side. And oops. Oh, I got ink on my finger and I'm spreading it everywhere. That's all right. I don't want to spread it all around. So Ferris Wheel Press, and then, oh, where do we want to put it? Let's put it right here. Steeped Umber. There we go. All right, so that is the color palette we are going with for my Jinhao 10 Coffee Orange Gradient. And I will close this up before I go and spill it. So again, that was Ferris Wheel Press Steeped Umber. All right, so looking at our pen and looking at our colors, I wanted to go from light to dark. They're still drying a little bit, so I don't want to go and like set my pen on top, but I can zoom in a little bit. What are we thinking? What are we feeling? Ooh. Like at first I was really leaning towards like Steeped Umber because like look at that match. I feel like that's just such a good match, even though this is still drying down a little bit, but you can still see that's such a good match. And also Nostalgic Honey, I feel like matches that light portion so well, like better than I was expecting. I don't know how well it like shows up on camera as matching, but I'm a fan of that. It's still a little wet, but I feel like that matches pretty good. And then again, the darkness. So I feel like Ceramic Kiln, I feel like it kind of looks like that middle color. That's what I was kind of going for. Maybe? You can feel free to tell me I'm crazy if that's the case. But it's kind of fun choosing some colors just to match the, you know, how the pen looks. So what do you guys think? I'm almost leaning towards, I was like almost certain I was going to put like Steeped Umber in there because it's nice and dark, but I'm almost thinking I should put Nostalgic Honey in there just because I have not inked this in a pen yet, and it matches like so much better than I thought. And even like the shading portions of Nostalgic Honey like could be the dark portions. I think Nostalgic Honey is what we're going to ink in this pen. So I'm going to set this aside to keep drying, and I'm going to ink this up real quick, and I will be right back. Alrighty, we are back, and now that the inks have dried, we can take a closer look. So here are the 3 inks that I chose for the Jinhao 10 Coffee Gradient or Caramel Orange Gradient, whatever you want to call it, and I feel like they worked really well. I was just very pleasantly surprised at how well Nostalgic Honey matches. Very impressed. But yeah, I will give you a little bit of a closer look now. I just love how these colors matched, and I didn't realize how fun this would be to color match. Oh, so much fun. Alrighty, so now we'll do a quick writing sample to end off this video. Like I said, I did get a fine nib, so we'll see how that goes. I love that click. All right, so today is the 26th of March, so I'll do March 26th. I do like this fine nib. Also, this ink is a very wet ink, so hopefully that'll do some wonders with the nib, and hopefully it doesn't dry out. So this is Teranishi. Nostalgic Honey. This is definitely a different writing experience than I'm used to, so it'll take some getting used to, but I am obsessed with this colorway. I really, really do love this colorway, and I'm so glad that I was able to pick this up. But yeah, it seems very smooth, and the ink is flowing very well out of the fine nib. And you can even see a little bit of like, I don't know how much you can see it, but like even the shading in the ink itself, I feel like matches the gradient, and I'm very happy with it. I feel like I could definitely get used to this, and it'll take me a little bit more practice, especially with like, you know, the clip being here. than I am used to. And again, I hold my pens very low, but this pen seems to almost be good for that, and it's very smooth in all directions. But yeah, all in all, I am very pleased with this little guy. I understand the hype. Again, time will tell about how well it'll seal, but oh, that was totally not in frame. About how well this will seal, but but yeah, we'll see when we get there. So if you stuck around this long, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And thank you for hanging out with me on my little corner of the internet here, where we just are gonna play with pens, inks, and stationery and whatever we feel like, because it's just a fun little hobby, right? So yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.